Welcome back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at weather for the next 8 to 10 days today. You had that really cold ECMWF run turn up yesterday. I did a video about it yesterday. It's very, very cold, and if it had come off, I did say that there'd be a lot of heavy snow and freezing temperatures with that. It was a really cold run, but it wasn't supported by other models, and unsurprisingly, this morning, the ECMWF run has changed its mind on that idea. It is still a cold run this morning. I'll have a look at it in a few moments, but nothing like the extreme as it was yesterday morning. So I think we can say that yesterday morning's ECMWF was an outlier, and we're probably not going to see anything as cold or as wintry next week as that was going for. Nevertheless, we are going to be staying cold for the next week or two. High pressure will be dominated, so it's going to be some hard overnight frost and probably an increasing risk of freezing fog as well as we go through the period. We'll have a look at all the detail in a moment. Before I get on with the video, just talk about the advertising. There's a video ads webpage at gazwebbiz.com. If you hit play on the video ad, you'll be supporting gazwebbiz.com, and thanks very much for doing that. Gav Shop is open, so if you want to go to Amazon between now and Christmas and get Christmas shopping, just click through the Amazon banners in Gav's Shop. You'll go through to Amazon, just do shopping as normal, but at the same time, Gav's Webbiz will get a royalty fee on anything you purchase, and again, thanks very much for doing that. So we're going to start off with the GFS temperature ensembles. These are for the upper atmosphere, but they are useful for down on the surface. The red line here, remember, is where we should be at this time of the year. All members of the ensemble are below the red line, so it is cold now. We are in that cold air mass that has been well publicised over the last week or so. We've been talking about it's getting cold. It has got colder now. It's going to stay cold for the next few days, so at least up to the 23rd, 24th of November, which is around here, we're staying below average. So yeah, cold for the next 4-5 days or so. Then from around the 24th of November, we're getting quite a big split developing. Some members of the ensemble want to keep it quite cold, going out towards the 26th, 27th. Other members want to turn it a little bit less cold. Certainly in terms of the upper atmosphere, it may not be so down on the surface, because if it's under high pressure, then despite the fact things are stirring a little bit and getting milder in the upper atmosphere, down on the surface under high pressure, it generally stays quite cold. But notice we've got a very big split really developing. Well, it starts from around the 23rd, 24th of November, which is only a few days away at the weekend. But by the time we get through to next week, a huge split in the ensemble is occurring. There's some members of the ensemble going very mild next week, other members of the ensemble staying very cold, and some members, for instance, this gold run here, not sure if you can see this, but this gold member of the ensemble goes very mild for a time, then goes very, very cold. Look how it crashes down. It goes from something like 10 Celsius at 850 millibars to something like minus 10 Celsius at 850 millibars in the space of just 2 or 3 days. So what's happening with that is that high pressure is sort of sitting over the country, and the air mass is changing around that high pressure, so we may get a milder air mass in the upper atmosphere for a time under the high pressure, but then we could bring in a very cold air mass again from the north or the northeast. It's very interesting how split the GFS ensembles are for next week. Lots of divergence there. From all that spaghetti, you couldn't really make much of a forecast, to be honest, about what's going to happen next week. One thing that is evident is with the precipitation spikes, rainfall spikes, it's quite dry. Really for the rest of November, not much precipitation coming up, though there is some for tomorrow. We'll look at that in a moment. As we get through to the start of December, the precipitation spikes do come back quite a lot, actually, so it does look as though it could turn more unsettled for the start of December. That's a very long way out. It's right at the end of the chart, so can't take that too seriously. Temperature anomalies for the next week, taking us from Tuesday the 19th, Tuesday the 22nd of November, show that we're going to be below average. It's going to be cold, as it is for just about the whole of Central and Western Europe, actually. Really, it is in Central and Western areas that got the cold temperature anomalies. In the east of Europe and going up towards Russia, the anomalies are much, much warmer. But for us, we're looking at temperature anomalies possibly up to 2 to 3 degrees below average there. So quite a cold week coming up, most certainly. And yeah, very cold for France, Spain, Portugal, Germany, Low Countries, Norway as well. Now, the mean surface temperatures for weekly periods are quite interesting when you see that with these charts. I want you to focus on this blue area up here. That's exceptionally cold air over Scandinavia for the coming week, the 19th to 22nd of November, over Scandinavia, and just right off the very edge of the chart in towards central Russia. But look what happens as we go through to the second weekly forecast, which is from the 27th of November to the 5th of December. Then it turns very, very cold across all of Scandinavia. The whole of Russia becomes very cold. The cold air pushes back into Russia, and the blue colours there, indicating sub-zero daytime temperatures, are pushing into central parts of Europe as well. So yeah, definitely signs there for us to get through to the second weekly period, the 27th to the 27th of November to the 5th of December. It's turning really much colder in the north and the northeast of Europe, and whether that cold air gets to us, I'm not sure. But on some of those ensembles, just quickly go back to look at some of those ensembles that are very, very cold there for later next week. That could well be that some of that really cold air that's coming down into the northeast of Europe is just getting as far west as us. So we've got to watch out for that. But I think mainly it's the eastern and northeast of Europe that's going to turn really, really cold, if that's right, next week. Now, having a look at the charts, first of all, we'll start off with the GFS, and there's this chart for Saturday, high pressure sitting over the country, and that's as it was showing yesterday, of course, when the ECMWF was trying to set up a really cold spell. The GFS just had high pressure sitting over the country, and it's still doing it today, still going for an idea that the high pressure sits over the country. So that's chilly, it's cold, it's frosty by night, there could be some fog with that as well, but by day, probably not too bad if you get some sunshine. Temperatures may be struggling up towards the seasonal average, but certainly by night that would be quite cold. Going out towards the 25th, so the start of next week, Monday the 25th, high pressure still is dominant, really, and it stays quite dominant as we go through to the middle of next week. There it is at 1,030 millibars, sitting over the country. There's the cold air plunging down on the eastern side of that high pressure into northern and eastern parts of Europe, by the way, and if that high pressure just orientates very slightly differently, that could push westwards in towards western parts of Europe. But it doesn't really do it on this particular GFS run. The high pressure sits there, really stays in situ over the country. Again, frost and fog likely, but not particularly wintry. Now, the ECMWF, which of course was giving us that very, very cold spell in yesterday's update, today, for Saturday the 21st, it still wants to take that high pressure up towards Iceland, but it doesn't make it come off. Naturally, as we go through Sunday the 24th, the high pressure is sitting there over the top of the country, keeping it settled and mainly dry. The high pressure is still there from Monday the 25th and on into Tuesday the 26th. Remember, at this point yesterday, the ECMWF was having the high pressure over Scandinavia, and bringing in a very cold easy wind. It just has it over the country now, so it's in line with the GFS. Frosty and foggy, but not particularly severely cold by any means. But as we go through towards days 9 and 10, which is Thursday the 28th and Friday 29th, just a suggestion there that we are reaching the high pressure up towards Scandinavia and possibly bringing in some sort of a cold easterly wind, particularly into the south and the southeast. But that's a much more toned down ECMWF run than we had yesterday morning. I think we are basically looking at a dry, fine, cold, frosty, foggy spell over the weekend into the start of next week. Nothing too severe on the evidence of this morning's models. I just want to, before I go, talk very quickly about the rain coming down from the north tonight. This is the high resolution NAE model from the website Weather Online. This is the precipitation forecast. Blue is rain, pink is snow, and at midnight tonight there's quite a bit of rain there coming into Scotland, Northern Ireland and the northwest of England. Snow is certainly possible over the high ground of central Scotland and over the Pennines as well. That's coming into cold air, so that rain could give us some ice problems. As we move through to 6 o'clock in the morning, the rain comes down into northern England and Wales. Still the suggestion that there could be some snow over the high ground of central and northern Scotland, but it is mainly rain with this, and possibly ice as it falls onto frozen ground. Moving through to 6 o'clock in the evening on Wednesday, and the rain clears away to the southeast, but it leaves us possibly with some wintry showers. But there's quite a bit of pink there for northeastern England and coming down in towards Wales, the North Midlands. So there could be some wintry showers. I don't think it'll amount to too much, but there may be some flakes of snow in the air, particularly at elevation tomorrow afternoon. And then finally, as we go through to midnight tomorrow night, midnight Thursday morning, all of the rain, sleet and wintry weather clearing away, although quite a bit of pink there in the channel, funnily enough. So there could be some suggestion of some sort of wintry weather going on along the south coast at midnight on Thursday. But basically it's drying out by then, and leaving us with a legacy of a lot of cloud and damp, dreary weather, really. But I don't think we're looking at anything too wintry overnight, tonight and into tomorrow. Mainly rain, possibly some snow over higher ground, and maybe a chance of wintry showers then as the rain clears away tomorrow afternoon. But I don't think it's going to amount to too much. And the main thing will be ice tomorrow morning. If you're travelling about early in the morning, particularly in the north, across northern England, parts of Scotland, you may well have some icy conditions to contend with. That's it for now. I'll be doing the Christmas forecast again, a new Christmas update tonight, so come back for that 5-day forecast tomorrow. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching.